Welcome back to the deep dive. We have pulled up to the curb with a fresh stack of sources this week. We're ready to get into the absolute best local gossip you can find.
That's right.
Today, we are taking a deep dive into the official police and sheriff reports for the Antigo Police Department and the Langlade County Sheriff's Office. We're looking at a snapshot covering the back half of December 2025, so specifically December 12th through the 29th.
Right. And when you look at the raw data, the official blotter, you're not just looking for, major crimes.
No.
You're trying to find the texture of life. When the snow is flying, people are stressed by the
It
holiday.
sounds a little cooped up.
Exactly. And our mission is to pull out those little moments of drama, the weird rural challenges, and of course the classic neighborly flare-ups that really define a community like this.
Exactly. We've pretty much distilled the essence of late December up north for you. We've got chaotic winter driving.
Oh, sure.
We have a truly unique theft involving some holiday decor. And my favorite, the local police trying to figure out if someone's being murdered or if it's just, technology.
The modern world intruding.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this, and we'll start out on the wide open and apparently very dangerous roads of Langlade County.
Sounds good.
So the moment you start reading the Langlade Sheriff's reports, you realize winter driving up here it's less about commuting and more about survival.
Yeah, and the chaos always seems to center around the main arteries.
State Road 64 especially.
Right. It's predictable, but it's always severe. Early December, it always starts with warnings. We see deputies focused on traffic enforcement near key spots like Polar Evergreen Road.
And Badger Ranch Road, yeah.
They're trying to get ahead of the inevitable, which is slick roads meeting, impatience.
And when those two things meet, the ditches become very, very busy places. I mean, on December 13th, you had this classic case. A driver found sound asleep in a white Ford.
Just decided to take a nap.
Apparently, had just drifted right off the road into a ditch on State Road 55. You have to wonder if they just thought, well, this is where I live now.
And what's fascinating here is that the incidents aren't just, minor fender benders. They escalate so quickly.
They do.
And you see the human toll of the isolation, too. There was that welfare check on County Road F for an older resident.
Right.
And the report specifically notes that their driveway hadn't been plowed. That one little detail. It just speaks volumes about the vigilance required for just basic safety in a northern Wisconsin winter.
Absolutely. And that tension, it just peaks right around the holidays. Look at that major incident on December 23rd.
The one at 64 and H.
Yeah, a really serious injury accident.
Yeah.
A box truck and a minivan. It was so serious they had to bring in extrication equipment.
Wow.
That's the reality of it. Big vehicles, low visibility, and icy roads all coming together.
And yet, as dangerous as the human drivers are, you also have to factor in the livestock.
Oh, you can't forget the livestock.
You're in farm country. And the animals sometimes, they just want a little freedom.
Wait, this is my favorite part. We have not one, but two high-profile livestock escape attempts in this period.
It's like a Christmas tradition up there.
It really is.
So on December 12th, there's a complaint about cows being out on State Road 64, which is, a major traffic hazard right there.
A big one.
But the report adds this magnificent detail. Their water had been tipped over.
So it's a protest. They weren't just escaping. They were registering a complaint about the service.
A very specific crime against animal hydration.
And then, just like that, the animal cast changes. On the 23rd, the deputies are dealing with a totally different situation.
The horses.
Horses, running loose on the highway at Forest Road and Parkway Road. The Great Escape, Volume 2, this time starring equines.
You just have to appreciate the versatility of the Langlade County Sheriff's Office. One minute you're at a high-speed crash.
That's right.
And the next you're trying to gently herd a few freedom-seeking horses off the main road. It's incredible.
And these chaotic winter conditions, they also seem to create some opportunistic crime.
For sure. The one on Hollister Lake Road.
Yeah, on the 23rd. Reports came in of items being stolen from a vehicle that was stuck in a ditch.
I mean, could your day get any worse?
Right. You've had the worst day driving, you're stuck, and now someone is going through your glove box.
Well, and that raises a question, right? Is that just an opportunistic crime, or is it a sign of something deeper, like community desperation right before the holidays?
That's an interesting point.
A stuck vehicle is a symbol of total vulnerability. And for someone to target that, it It suggests a very specific, maybe seasonal breakdown of social norms.
You're stealing from someone at their absolute lowest moment.
It's a harsh reminder of the economic pressures people face around Christmas. Definitely adds a darker dimension to the whole thing.
So now we make the jump from the wide-open, snowy county roads and the dramas of livestock management right into the tighter confines of the city of Antigo itself. And does the friction get any better when we move to the neighborhood streets?
Spoiler alert, no.
No, it does not.
The city reports give us a really clear view of how holiday stress just translates into pure human friction. You know, the close quarters, they amplify every little disagreement.
And the domestic issues really start to stack up.
Oh, yeah, right before Christmas.
We see that right out of the gate on December 13th. A fight in progress on Fifth Avenue. Leads to one subject being taken into custody, and they had bloody nose. Short tempers, immediate conflict.
And you also see the logistical nightmare of dealing with these situations. Like on the 17th, there was that disorderly conduct on Hill Road out in the county.
Right, with the aggressive male subject.
And then he had to be physically transported into a specific residence in Antigo. The city basically had to absorb a county problem.
It just shows how interconnected the jurisdictions are, especially with ongoing domestic stuff.
For sure. And as we get closer to Christmas Eve, the calls just increase. Multiple domestic incidents. And then one specifically reported at the Antigo Hotel on the 28th.
That is just the perfect picture of holiday pressure coming to a head.
It really is. The financial stress, the family expectations, it all just converges. But if you want the real local flavor,
The real tea.
you have to look at the petty crimes, the neighbor squabbles. This is the good stuff.
Yes, the garbage can warfare. Tell me about the level of commitment required to call the police over garbage collection.
It is a masterpiece of passive aggression. The reports show recurring civil complaints
Recurring.
about neighbors moving or disputing garbage cans. We see it on Dorr Street and then another one on the 23rd. The police are now referees in bin placement disputes.
It shows you when space is shared, even the trash can becomes a battleground.
It really does. And the thefts are just as focused on the trivial. Like someone out there had a very specific need for fresh linens.
The towels. On December 26th, a complaint about missing towels from Rainbow Laundry on Superior Street.
That is the kind of specific, nonviolent minor larceny that keeps local officers busy when they're not dealing with the big stuff.
We also have to mention the city landmarks that just consistently generate activity. Lockouts, for example.
Always.
We see them at Fleet Farm, on Neva Road, and even at Papa Murphy's. That rush to get dinner just ends with the keys locked inside the car.
And the traffic infractions, they tell a story about Antigua's unique culture, too. On the 17th, a blue UTV was cited for driving on the highway.
At 6th and Edison, yeah.
It's a vehicle that belongs off-road, trying to sneak through city traffic.
And speaking of city traffic, who hasn't been there? The hit and run at the Cavanage drive-thru on 6th Avenue.
Oh, classic.
Everyone trying to get their money, and somebody gets a little too close to the barrier and just drives off, hoping nobody noticed.
It just shows that no matter where you are, a big city or a smaller town, basic impatience in a high traffic zone is just a universal constant.
All right, let's pivot to the reports that truly make you scratch your head and just try to figure out what you just read.
The deep weird.
Yes. These are the incidents that start with extreme drama, but they end with a perfectly mundane and often slightly embarrassing explanation.
This is where the police blotter shifts from being serious to being genuinely good comedy. These reports show how quickly perception can just lead to panic.
Let's start with the one I teased in the intro. The drama on Charlotte Court.
Yep.
9:27 p.m. on December 13th.
Okay.
Screaming was reported, suggesting, a major disturbance, maybe a serious assault. The officers rush out there ready for anything.
And the terrifying truth was?
Officers determined the screaming was a jump scare from YouTube shorts.
Oh, the age we live in.
I know.
It is utterly fascinating. It's the perfect collision of modern tech and local policing. Police are trained to detect sounds of distress, but now...
Now what?
Now they have to factor in the hyper-realistic audio of digital entertainment. The sounds of jump scares are now officially confusing emergency services.
And tying up resources.
It raises a serious question about how law enforcement has to adapt to technology that creates these realistic distress sounds in a suburban setting.
That is a much bigger conversation. But the mystery noises, They didn't stop there. On the 27th, officers responded to late-night gunshots on Elm Street Avenue.
Which would be terrifying for the neighbors.
For sure, only for it to be determined that it was just a vehicle backfire.
And these sensory confusions aren't just limited to sound. On the 21st, there's that chemical smell complaint on Morse Street.
And your mind immediately goes to a gas leak or something truly hazardous.
Of course. Only for officers to arrive and discover it was a neighbor painting their garage.
You know you live in a close-knit area when the fumes from your home improvement project get a police response.
And my personal favorite in this theme, the culinary emergency. On the 15th, on County Road F, a fire alarm goes off.
Right.
The culprit, burnt chicken. The deputies then had to help the resident ventilate their home.
That is community service at its absolute finest. From traffic accidents to air quality control after a kitchen disaster. You got it.
And speaking of mishaps, we have to talk about the Christmas crime wave, which was focused entirely on holiday cheer.
Or a lack thereof. Antigo residents clearly take their outdoor decor very, very seriously.
They absolutely do, and the crimes are so specific. On the 27th, we have a criminal damage report on Lincoln Street. Cut Christmas decoration lines.
See, that wasn't casual. That was malicious holiday sabotage. Someone went out there with wire cutters.
And then, the very same day, we have the highly specialized theft on Fred Street.
This one is amazing.
The theft of a remote control Christmas decoration. Not the inflatable Santa itself, but the device required to operate it.
It's a targeted strike against the ability to create holiday magic.
It really is.
It just shows an impressive level of pettiness.
Yeah.
Someone decided that controlling their neighbor's holiday display was worth the risk of theft.
Or at least preventing them from controlling it.
These small actions, cutting a wire, stealing a remote, they often say more about local social resentments than any grand theft report. And finally, the ultimate holiday stress test. A lockout reported on Christmas Eve, 7:37 p.m.
Prime time.
Access was needed quickly because, and I quote, food was cooking on the stove.
Oh, no.
Nothing brings the drama like a Christmas dinner under threat of being scorched. That's a genuine emergency.
It's the perfect capstone to the whole 2 weeks, the juxtaposition of severe weather, domestic arguments, and the sheer panic of burnt holiday food. It's all there.
It really is.
So reflecting on this 2-week deep dive, a clear pattern emerges. This period is just a concentrated blend of rural road safety struggles, that inevitable domestic tension from the holidays, and a wondrously bizarre array of neighborly conflicts and sensory confusions. The local authorities are constantly acting as first responders, domestic counselors, and sometimes, even livestock wranglers.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've got a clear moral of the week from this source material.
Let's hear it.
If you live in Langlade County, you must treat your vehicle ditch recovery kit as sacred. And for the love of the Sheriff's Department, please lock up your livestock.
Good advice.
If you live in the city of Antigo, invest in high-quality, low VOC garage paint. And for the sake of your neighbors, please use a good set of noise-canceling headphones for your YouTube jump scare videos.
And if we connect this all to the broader picture, while we focus on the most dramatic and, amusing reports,
Right.
the blotter also had a steady stream of citations for simple equipment violations, snow-covered windows, headlamps that don't work, expired registrations.
The basics.
The basics. And these routine small oversights suggest that while the police handle the big dramas, it's often the simple lack of attention to maintenance that keeps them perpetually busy.
That's a really powerful point. So what small, obvious safety step are you putting off right now? That is the real mystery. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the local news that matters most, the neighborhood gossip. We'll see you next time.